Welcome to the Practice Marketing Podcast, highlighting successful strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics and experts so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. I'm your host, Neil Trickett, CEO of Practice Promotions, and today I'm going to share with you my 3 biggest mistakes as a physical therapy clinic owner. So at the age of 26, I took the plunge into entrepreneurship and started up my own practice with my amazing wife, Amy, who is also a physical therapist. I had worked in different outpatient practices and thought to myself, hey, I can do this, no problem. But I soon found out what it actually takes to run a business and a practice. We took the plunge, we learned about leases for renting a space, did some negotiations, and committed ourselves to a lease contract. It was a big commitment, and I definitely felt the weight at the time. And I remember thinking that we were in a medical building with doctors all around us, and all we had to do was put our name on the door and go around to our neighbors to let them know we were now in business. But boy, was I wrong, which leads me to my first mistake in being a practice owner, which is not understanding the fundamentals of marketing and having a strategy. You see, I was under the assumption that because I was a good clinician, I could easily get patients, but this is only half the picture. You have to be able to market your services, and you have to prepare as such. So after a few years of scraping to get off the ground, I decided I needed to go get some business training. So I signed up with some consultants, and I started to learn about marketing and business. And it all made sense to me, and I eagerly went back to promote my practice and my business. But it took a while to get things rolling, as we then needed to adapt what we had learned into actual actionable items. So where would we even start? We got going on, direct mail to physicians as well as lunch and learns. We also then started on marketing to past patients. There was, of course, no social media in 2003, and email marketing was barely happening. So we worked the first 6 weeks to create our first direct mail newsletter to patients because we didn't know what the heck we were doing. But we got better at it. But, what was surprising was that it worked. And over the years, we learned more and more and got better at leveling up our businesses. But as we hired and had more people working with us, we ran into issues with a couple of problem staff. And the kind that goes around quietly stirring up the pot behind your back with the team and giving that kind of weird vibe in the office, which leads me to my second mistake, which is hanging on to problem staff too long. And the old saying goes, fire fast and hire slow, which does ring a bell. So don't expect to be a whiz at attracting the best people to work for you, and you're going to make mistakes in hiring as you go. That's just a given. However, I look at recruiting as an evolution. Each time you hire, you get better at attracting and weeding out the winners. And the only way to really scale your business is to bring in the right people that can help you do it. And top staff are really drawn to winning teams. But top staff will also leave if you bring a bad apple into the bunch. So you always want to hire for personality before expertise. And not to say that you don't need someone with good expertise and good technical skills or good administration skills, whatever you're needing that job position for, but I can always train someone to a certain level, or I can get them training, but I can't change their personality.
The top 10% of PT owners aren't just surviving, they're thriving. But what's their secret? Well, Neil Trickett's new Market to Grow book reveals how the top 10% of PT practices leverage marketing systems to simultaneously grow their new patients, attract top talent, and boost profit in their practice. You can learn from their secrets. Visit practicepromotions.net/book to claim your free copy of Market to Grow. Yes, you heard that right. We are shipping a free copy of Market to Grow to all podcast listeners who want it. Just visit practicepromotions.net/book to claim your free book. And now back to the show.
So over the years in practice, we grew a spine and got better and better at attracting the right people to work with us and quickly finding out if someone was not a good fit for us. However, we ran into another trouble as we got bigger, which was that we were beginning to struggle financially. And I couldn't really figure it out. We were fairly busy, but the money wasn't there like it should be. And slowly I borrowed against a line of credit over and over again until I got to a point where it was just too large. And I'd reached a point where we were close to bankruptcy. The final straw was when we had to borrow money from retirement accounts to cover payroll. That was it. And I got back to our business consultant who had me take a good hard look at our team. And what I found out was that our office manager, who was a great person, had personal financial difficulties at home with her husband's business, and it totally distracted her from work. And as a result, our billing and collections had snowballed into this out of control mess. Which leads me to my third mistake, which is not being proficient in finance. As a result of mistakes in billing, we were $100,000 behind in collections, and I had to make the tough call to let her go and hired a billing and collections person just to catch up. I dove into learning about billing, collections processes. I updated our software and our whole processes within the finance department. And within 3 months, we were actually turned around, which was amazing. But I made it a point to have a billing meeting every week from there on out to keep a pulse on our financials coming into the business, and then worked with our bookkeeper to project finances and set goals for our financial department. So there are definitely some lessons that came out of these 3 huge mistakes I made in business. And of course, I've definitely made plenty more. But you only have to be right 51% of the time to make it. So one of the lessons I learned was that I was more than just a clinician. I was a CEO of my practice and an entrepreneur, and I needed to learn business skills. I needed to invest in myself. I needed more training. I needed to read more business books. And so I made sure to make time for that, and I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in my own training. While that seems like a lot of money, it has paid immensely back over the years. The other lesson I learned was that I needed to know my worth in practice. Too often we get caught up in this reimbursement from insurance companies, and we think that if we don't take certain insurances, we're going to lose referrals from doctors. And I learned to say no to certain insurance contracts, to believe more in what I could create with my own marketing, with my direct-to-consumer marketing, and I knew my worth in practice. In fact, we were the highest paid practice in 3 counties for United Healthcare. And that took some negotiation to get there, but it just shows what you can do if you put your mind to it and you really know your worth and what you should be making in your practice. So know what your hourly revenue should be to generate the profit margins you want and make decisions from that. I also learned that I can't know and do everything myself. Over the years, and as I've grown successful businesses, I realized that the bigger you get, the more consultants and specialists you actually need. It's okay to use outside help, and while it seems like it will cost more than doing it yourself, it actually generates you much better returns in the long run. So I would say to you, areas for you to work on in your business to get yourself to that next level is make time for your business analysis and marketing actions in your business. Learn about marketing strategy and invest in your business growth. Work on finding the right people to move your business forward and quickly move out those that don't align. And know your worth. Promote to the level your business needs and set the rate you want to make. Now, I hope this was insightful for you and you can learn from my journey in 8 years of private practice and also building a multi-7-figure agency. And if you want to know more marketing tips and advice, then don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. Check out our YouTube channel and get our book at market2grow.net. That's market, the numeral 2, grow.net. So this is Neil Trickett from the Practice Marketing Podcast, wishing you much success in your practice.
A free way for you to support our show is by leaving a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's a chance for you to tell us what you love about the show, and it helps others discover it as well. Just scroll down to ratings and review on your phone and click write a review. Thanks.